Okay, so we have our whole newsletter set up here. Whether you're on the A-Master, wherever you are, it doesn't matter, but we're going to stop and save this right now as O3 newsletter. And this is going to tell me I already have this file saved. That's okay, I'll replace it. But you want to make sure you save this file because you're going to turn this in as part of homework here at the end. So go ahead and save that as 03_newsletter. And on the pages panel here, I'd like you to double click on the pages 2 and 3 spread. And again, making sure that we're seeing page 2 down here at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to start inserting text here. So again, kind of referencing that first page there, page 55, we're going to create this now by putting in our text and our images here. So we're going to go to File and Place. Again, that's Command D. And we're going to select the 4 images that we want to bring in. You don't have to select them all at once. You can select them separately. But we're going to select Article 1, hold down the Shift key, select Article 2, the honeybee image, and the garden tools image. And we're going to click Open. And you're going to notice that your mouse is loaded with the 4 documents you just created. You can see that number 4 in parentheses. So the first document that we're going to get rid of here is the text frame document over here. So we're going to left click over here. And shoot, I must have something wrong there. You probably got yours to work. Maybe it should have just pulled right into this text frame here that was set up here, but we're going to keep going and hope that the other ones work. And then we're going to come over here and place this one here, soil for the garden. And then we're going to come back over to the left here, place this image here. And then finally, we're going to click in here and place that image there. And I'm not really sure why this did not work, but we're just going to fix it here quickly. I'm going to drag this over. Remember, we kind of set this up in this top section up here. So I'm just going to fix that real quick. Hopefully yours worked better than mine. I'm not really sure why mine did that. But okay, so we have those 3 or 4 pieces placed now. Go ahead and click outside of your image again, and we're going to go ahead and go to File and Place again, or use Command D. And we're going to place the snippet 2 file. So we already placed the header snippet. You want to find the snippet 2 file. Click Open. And again, we're going to place this up here and to the left. We're going to left click up here by the bleed, and it's going to dump everything in down here. Doesn't that look pretty? You can go ahead and left click to deselect again. And go ahead and save. And then we're going to go ahead and make the last few changes we need to make here. So just remember on our A-Master we have this placeholder text here, but now that we're on page 2 and 3, we want to put text that makes sense here. So remember the override command is to hold down the Shift key and the Command key together, and I'm going to click where that placeholder text box is. And now it's selected separately, so now I can select all that text and type in bees and bugs. And I'm going to click my selection tool again and come over here and do the same thing. This one is a little more persnickety. Did I get that on the right first one? I don't think so. There we go. For some reason, we had trouble with this one in class, where you kind of had to click around a little bit more to get that to override. And this we're going to type in gardening tips. Okay. Finally, the last thing I just want to point out to you is, I'm going to zoom in on one of the corners here. You notice the red line that's going around this document, that's the bleed. So we talk about bleed, and you have bleed in different magazines and flyers, postcards, whatever. And that's when an image runs right off a page. So when they actually print this and then they cut it before they collate it, they're cutting the edge here so that the image looks as though it's running right off the page. So we have that here and we have that here. And as we scroll to the right, we have that here and here. And we can see here that this image isn't pulled over enough. So if we would print this and cut it, you might not get the same nice clean cut. You might end up getting a little bit of white border there. So we're going to click on that image to select it, and we're going to drag it. Either drag it at least up to the red line of the bleed or over it is even better, because then you know when that printer cuts it, we're not going to have any issues with any kind of weird white borders coming in. We have the same thing up here. Our gardening tips text box is kind of bleeding off the page, which is perfect, but our green one isn't, and we can't change this here. We could certainly do the override, but we want it fixed on every page. So we're going to go to the A master and fix it here. So then we can click on this here, select the green box, and adjust that so it matches up to the bleed. The red line, again, is the bleed there. All right, and they talk about that on page 78. I'd really, really encourage you to read through that to better understand printing to the edge of the paper, using the bleed guides, and why that's important when you're sending it off to a printer. Okay, so if we go back to our spread here, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to the View menu and choose Fit Spread in Window. And the last thing that's always kind of nice to look at when you're looking at your pages is to look at it in preview mode. So down here on the left, the far left bottom of your tool panel, click on this box and choose Preview. And that just gets rid of all the guides and all the boxes so you can see a better clean look of your newsletter here in the end. So there it is. Doesn't that look beautiful? So hopefully it makes sense to you when we look at our pages panel and we're talking about master pages versus spreads in our document, and the difference between the two and why we would use master pages. So definitely take a look in your textbooks, read through it, make sure you're understanding the whole purpose of master pages.